thank you for coming. It's a great honor for me to have you here, because you know, to come here says that you have a certain willingness to uncover something within yourself. That somewhere you're looking for something, that you have a question that lies unanswered within you. And I see myself as a facilitator of assisting you in opening up something inside yourself so that your own divine wisdom will come through. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, before I have you introduce yourself, I'm going to talk a little bit about how I received my gift. I lived and worked at a place called Esalen Institute in Big Sur, California. It was a holistic healing place. In fact, it was one of the first of its kind. And it was kind of like a spiritual Shangri-La. And many people, psychics came there, bioenergetic workers, Reichian people, physicists. It was truly a, what they call, what is that, an Atlantis. If one were to talk about a modern day Atlantis. Wonderful thinkers, wonderful speakers, rolling thunder, Buddhists, lamas. So it was a very exciting place to be. And I came there with some deep psychological work that I was working on. All my life I had been what I called depressed. So I threw myself into every workshop that was possible. And this is what I did for about 5 years. If anybody asks, what is she doing? They said, I don't know, she's going to every workshop. You know, we never see her. So I say I just threw myself into everything. And one day something indeed happened. As I was cursing my mother and my father, because that was the old days of victimization, where you blame your mom and your father for everything that's happening in your life. And as I'm taking a tennis racket and pounding on this bed, that's the old Alexander Lowen method, all of a sudden I felt this great energy come through me. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know what's happening. I later went that night to what they called a Gestalt workshop with Dick Price, one of the co-founders of Esalen. And he looked at me and he says, what's wrong with you? And I said, I think somebody slipped me a tab of acid. He said, well, he says, just sit and breathe. So I did. I breathed, and as I looked out, and I felt this tremendous energy, it was almost as if I were undulating. And now, in retrospect, I understand what that energy was, but all I know is that I would be looking out at a group of people. I used to be the opener. He used to call me his opener, because I would like scream and rant and rave, and then people would say, well, God, if she can do it, I can do this too, you know, and work on my problems. So there I'm looking out at everybody, and all of a sudden I'm seeing them kind of like in a really clear way. And of course I made the mistake of telling them what I saw, because I didn't know how to control it yet. You know, I didn't think about it. And I said, oh, you're having problems with your husband, or, you know, your kid is giving you problems, or you want to do this. And some people appreciated it and some people didn't. So I began to see that I had to do something with this energy. It took me about a year to get into my body, because something very strange happened. All I could think about was God. I would say God, 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 and I thought I was crazy. Who else thinks about God, God, God all the time? Now, Esalen was a place that talked about the self, and here I'm reciting God. So I began to pray for a guru. And later, shortly thereafter, Ma came to Esalen. I didn't know anything about Ma. The only way I knew about Ma, which was interesting, I didn't know her real name. But I started to do the Ouija board because I was looking for a vehicle to express what I saw. So I landed on the Ouija board, and the Ouija board started telling me, started speaking to me from some guy named Baba. And I said, who is this Baba? And he said to me, he said, free yourself of ego, love everyone. He said, go see Haridas Baba. Now I had known about Haridas Baba because he then became a guru. He was in Santa Cruz. He said, go see Haridas Baba and have your heart opened. So I started to listen to the Ouija board. And I went to see Haridas Baba, this great guru, and I felt my heart opening. And then he told me, and then the board told me to call myself Jaya. Now this was Ma's original name. She was originally called Jaya, but she didn't like the name herself and called herself Joya. So I wasn't to know that. So people started calling me Jaya. So this, I'd say, was even before I knew about Ma. So in retrospect, I now know that that energy was what we call Kundalini. And what Kundalini does, it's an energy, it's a spiritual energy that rises from your first chakra. Does everybody here know about chakras? Before I talk about chakras. Your energy centers in the body. Anybody who doesn't know? Okay. Well, I'll give you a little thing about it. So chakras are energy centers, and sometimes we have them open and sometimes we have them closed. It's like what they think about saints is that their chakras are totally open. It's because they've allowed the Kundalini energy, this fire energy, to pierce through every one of those chakras. So for the purpose of today, we'll talk about 7 of them. Here they are. The first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and 7th. Okay. So contained within these chakras are also some of your organs relate to them. So say the kidneys, the sacrum, is like the first chakras. The sexual chakras, the gonads, the pelvic area is the second chakra. The third is the pancreas, the small intestine, third chakra. Fourth chakra is your heart. Fifth chakra is your throat, the thyroid gland. The sixth chakra is your pineal gland, and that's the third eye. And the 7th chakra is actually not really connected to the body. Some great saints, I once asked my teacher, I asked her about her chakras. I asked, what chakra are you in? And she said to me, she says, I'm not in any chakra. And that was kind of outstanding to me, that she operated from a place up here. But many of us make decisions from various chakras. Now, when we're born, we come into life with a package. We call it a package. I'm born with maybe some chakras open, some chakras closed. Maybe my heart is open, but maybe my first chakra is closed. Maybe my 6th chakra is open and I can see things, but maybe my heart is closed. I've been to psychics who have this chakra open and they can see with their third eye, but they don't have the heart center open. So they can say things to people that they do have a perception and they might see a picture, but it's not right unless it's combined with the heart or brought down into the various centers of the body. Each center relies upon the other. And like I say, the holy person, we presume, has their chakras wide open. And yoga in itself can bring an opening to your chakras. That's the purpose of yoga, to prepare your body, to prepare these centers to not be afraid of being open, so they may resonate and that you may experience union with God. Now, when we were all younger, I guess I can say this, I used to operate mostly out of my 2nd chakra. And that was the sexuality chakra. I wish I could have said it was the creative chakra. But anytime I saw somebody, or saw some, interesting guy, I saw him through the 2nd chakra. Now, when you're young and you make decisions like that, and you even marry on the basis of that choice, then later on, you're wondering why your husband doesn't resonate with you in the 5th, 6th, and 7th chakras, because you definitely did not marry somebody spiritual. You might have married them on the basis of the fact of security, sexuality, power. So you chose somebody on the basis of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd chakra. I call them all windows of perception. And they're like windows through which we perceive. Now, as I've gone, and in actuality, I'm going to speak to you all as if you're learning how to be readers. Because in order to do this work, you have to be very responsible, and it dovetails with your own spiritual life. It dovetails with your own spiritual work on yourself. Basically, the secrets, when I say the secrets of a good reader, are how kind, how open, how compassionate, how non-judgmental you can be. And when you can be all these things, your chakras open themselves and you can walk into the space of somebody else. They will allow you to walk in.